They have took in several people that couldn't care less about the national level, no matter what the deal is. Some of them didn't even own cars. But they was interested in helping that chapter put on shows or events of any kind, which obviously benefited the chapter because they were bringing money into their chapter. And I know, for an example, like our chapter, I've always felt it strong. We were 100% forever and ever. We picked up 12 new people due to not having to be POCI members, because we allowed them that first step into the club, and then we kept showing them smoke signals and items like that. Now, out of those 12, we've gotten 8 or 9 of them that now have become POCI members. And, I mean, there's several other chapters that I know of, it probably, in Arkansas being one of them, probably would have folded if they wasn't allowed to have locals come in and become, and possibility to become POCI.
I just want to piggyback ditto to what Larry said. I view the chapters almost as a farm team to feed new members up into the POCI. For a bunch of years, I've been responsible for the bulk emailing note to the chapter members about, we're having a meeting, this and that. And I always included, not always, but more often than not, included a blurb, hey, if you're not a member of POCI, here's 5 reasons you should join. Smoke signals, insurance we have a once a year annual car show, and POCI provides the insurance for us and everything else. I think if we change back to the old way of doing things, you'd see a lot of chapters struggling to survive.
I just want to say something real quick. I think it's a risk-reward situation. I think we risk the fact that we will not get rewarded as much as we think we will. I think it's important for each local organization to really be, like Jack said, the farm team, and I think that's really important.
Larry?
Well, and the only other thing, and I'll add to it, I mean, it's, I'm looking at it like when they're talking about the people, the club paying for the insurance, we've got, say we have a Pontiac event. Well, obviously, we allow any Pontiac, and I'm talking about the local chapter events, we allow any Pontiac owner to bring their car to the event. I mean, if we tell them, you can't come in here, and we do a free entry into our event.
Chapter.
Right. We don't allow them to come in because they're not a POCI chapter,
The
then
show's gonna die.
it's dead.
You get 20 cars.
The idea of bringing the show trucks up the
We've got,
back.
this is another excellent tool that could be utilized during the chapter of the year award as well. Because if you get during the chapter of the year award, you get the chapter to give you a count of their POCI member, and then their non-POCI members that actually make up the chapters. And then on the following year, you can see how their chapter is growing, how many new POCI members you have.
Yeah.
And you can use that information. How has that chapter improved? Are they actually recruiting those new non-POCI members to, join POCI? You can use that information in your analysis for the chapter of the year awards for those chapters. So I think this is an excellent tool that you can also utilize to bring new members into POCI.
We get that information now on chapter reports.
Yeah.
I haven't been watching the site, so I don't know who started, who came up first. Lars.
Well, a couple of years back, many years back, I tried to start a chapter in Sweden. Problem there is double fees. First you have to pay the POCI fee, then you have to pay the local fee.
Monitoring.
But now we have an opening that we must start to discuss with those members. That's an e-membership. You don't have to pay the full POCI membership, you can pay the little lower e-membership. So that's kind of open a little door to kind of get people into POCI with a lower rate and then maybe become a full member later on. So this kind of opened a little door back home for me to maybe try it again. So that was the problem.
I belong, I'm a charter member of the Pontiac in Central California 45 to 50 members. When we bring in a new member, it is automatic. We have, this is what you do. You belong to the chapter, you belong to the POCI. I have not heard one complaint about it at all. When we have our annual car show, we promote POCI heavily. In fact, I've gotten a lot of stuff from Paul. And you can't imagine, you gotta promote the thing. You know, you gotta be salesmen and go out there and sell it. Where the hell are you gonna get a magazine for $40 that has such great stuff into it? And promoting the car. So, we continue doing the same thing. You join the club, you join POCI, period. And we haven't had it, and you get these guys on it.
And we do the same thing in Alabama.
Yeah. So generally, we gotta be salesmen and promote POCI, that's all there's to it. If you can't do that, well, it's going.
That's true.
You know,
That is very true. It's easier to get a commitment on a chapter, members, say, $20 for a year, to get them in there, and then work them
We do
to
it
work
one
to be a
time, one shot.
POCI member. We've got many members that joined our chapter and as non-POCI members, and within a few months, they come up and they said, hey, I'm a POCI member now. And it's because we all talk about the convention, the smoke signals, we've got one to show them, and especially the new smokes. They're looking at that now and they're going, wow, I'm getting this, you know. So it allows us to get them in the door, if you will, and then we can continue on.
Gail?
Well, if there's a way to keep track of it and say, you know, this is what we have to offer, this is POCI, this is our chapter, and then after a certain small window of time, okay, now, you know, what did you think of our chapter and all the fun we have, and this is our newsletter, and get them to join, otherwise they're not a part of the chapter anymore. That would be one thing. But otherwise, we're not gonna grow. If they, because the chapters that have the non-POCI members in it, and I'm not saying you in particular, there's many of them out there. What's the incentive for these people to join POCI? If they're, because a lot
The
of them
incentive
don't come to
is, like Ron said, we need to sell.
You
Yeah,
gotta
we
have.
gotta sell
The problem we've
Yeah,
had is
that's what I mean, but I mean,
But if they're there, we can do that, but if they're not
Yeah,
even, that's,
that's
you know,
why-
let them in the door. If they're not coming into the meeting, we can't get them, you
well,
know.
that was my point, you know, for a short period of time, if people.
Exactly.
don't
I'd like to
keep
get,
track of
I'd
them.
like to get a vote on this, because we're coming up against,
Special.
Can I make a motion?
but we already have the motion.
Oh, okay, all right.
We've got the motion, the second. The motion is that the bylaws be changed to read that all chapter members must be members of PLCI. So, I would like to take a vote at this point. All those in favor of the motion? One, all opposed? Okay, motion goes down.
Sorry.
We still have three more, but this is, we're right at the end of.
I'll just make a comment, because I lived through I'm president, I'm president of the Early Times chapter, and I lived through the less good days for us, is that fair enough? And I would get beat up at Hershey by my members, who I would just get a tirade of four-letter words saying, why don't we leave POCI? Because they saw nothing of value for them in POCI, and you could talk about insurance, but that's invisible to the membership. They need something that draws them to it. And when we had a change of smoke signals to where there was suddenly contact for the Early Times chapter, and I've promoted POCI, I've written in my columns, and we are converting them. But when I walk up to that person at Hershey, and I'm doing a spot sell, and I sold for a living for a number of years, I'm saying, you need to join Early Times, you have a 1945 Pontiac, and then, sign now, I want $25. I can't say to him, because I've got three more people waiting, and I want $37 or $40, and I want to fill out this form and fill out that. I have them fill out an early times form, I get $25, I get to the next person, and I sign up about a dozen and a half people at Hershey every year. But we're going through people, but then we promote POCI, talk to Paul, you know, I send him regular customers, you're not in POCI, why don't you call the club office and have them send you a complimentary smoke signals? You're gonna get new members by, you got a carrot or a stick. You ain't gonna get them by beating them and telling them if you don't, we're gonna take it away from you. You get them by making it something they want. You've gotta do that in your publications, you've gotta do it at the convention. What is there for the early times cars? Where's the space for them? You've gotta do it at your local shows, but make a space for them. You can draw them, or you can beat them up. But I think there's a lot more to be said by the carrot approach. That's,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're right up against 12 o'clock and it looks like things are ready. We're just a little bit behind, so we'll plan on the regular hour for lunch. Be back at 1 o'clock.